Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Hey, welcome. It is time for Naturally Inspired Radio. I am so glad you are joining me today. It's a little cool here in northern Colorado. Yeah, the leaves are definitely falling, and it is definitely a fall day. And yesterday, kind of too. And so I'm fighting off the winter blues. I know you say it's not winter, it's fall. You don't understand. You don't understand. I am a summer girl. And so as soon as fall comes, even though it's beautiful and, we're getting lots of sunshine and everything, you cannot trick me. I know what is coming. What is coming is snow. And you say, well, why do you live in Colorado then? I mean, I love Colorado. The summers in Colorado and the sunsets in Colorado in the summer and even in the fall, they make everything all worth it. There is a balance, but I tell you, this is just like part of my birthright, I think, to complain about weather. And as we get older, I think it just is like part of us. I think we have to complain about weather. I don't know. It's just a way to, I think, move some energy out and just like, say goodbye and mourn a little bit from summer and accept the new season coming in. I know it's good for us. I know we need it. I know we need a little pushback, and the cold provides that. I know it's part of the system, but will you just give me the space to complain about a little bit? Just a little bit. I already miss summer. This is what's happening around here at the homestead right now. My chickens are out of control. They just seem to be able to find their way out of the fencing every day now. So, I've got a chicken problem. I got a leaf problem. I got a cat problem. It's just the way it is around here. Anyway, you know what I did this weekend? I purged because I seem to do this. Just like the cycles of the seasons, I feel the need to purge at the beginning of a new season. And so I got rid of 2 huge garbage bags full of clothes. And I went through everything. There's like rules to purging stuff, right? It's like, when was the last time you actually wore that? If it's been longer than a year, hello, let it go, girl. Let it go, right? Like you're not probably going to wear it. I used to be really bad with that. And I used to be like, well, I think I'll like add new life to it and I'll wear it in a different way or I'll do something. You're lying to yourself. You are lying to yourself. There's a reason why you haven't worn it in a year. It's because it didn't hold up the way you thought it was going to hold up and it didn't wash well. So now it doesn't lay well. It's got stains on it. Hello, that's me. And this is what I thought about as I was looking through all of my clothes together. And I got rid of a lot of stuff. Everything had some kind of stain on it, you guys. A lot of my stuff did. And I thought, do I have like a problem with aprons? Do I have a beef with aprons? Because I have ruined more shirts than I care to admit because I'm always cooking and I love cooking, not all the time. Sometimes I begrudge it. I'm not saying, just love being in the kitchen all the time, but it is a creative outlet for me. So I love cooking and I cook a lot. And I don't cook with aprons though, for some reason. And I'm not sure why. Like, is this a beef I have with aprons because our nanas wore aprons and we think it makes us look old? Or I'm embracing the apron, you guys. After purging my clothes yesterday, I'm embracing the apron because I have ruined more shirts, like I said, than I care to admit. So anyway, I digress. But anyway, I got rid of a whole bunch of stuff and I feel great about it. I mean, my dressers, was the drawers were getting, caught because there was so much junk in there. And I've got so many race t-shirts, because I've been running for decades and I do not need to keep every race t-shirt, right? I have the memory. I don't need to keep every race shirt. So I got rid of a whole bunch of my race shirts from marathons and half marathons and all kinds of races. I'm just telling you, because it really kind of lightened my mood today. I felt like this is great, like a fresh start for the fresh week. So I just wanted to encourage you. If you're feeling like, hey, it's new season, I would encourage you to do the purge and don't be too conservative with the purge, because I can't even remember what I put in the bag already and it's gone. So encourage you in the beginning of a season. It's like an energetic balance, to do a purge. And I'm really glad that I did mine. Anyway, I did a lot of thinking too, because as I was doing this purging, I was listening to different books and things, podcasts. And I had a lot of activity on my health text line this weekend, and I was having some really great conversations with people about their health and about just the health system in general. And so it kind of spawned this topic that I want to bring to your attention today. It is the culture war, right? Culture capture topic for the day. And I want to bring it to your attention because I think it's so important. And it is this. Hear me when I say this. And this, I want you to, I'll back it up, but I want you to keep an open mind. Okay. Medicine is not a science. I know that. Just like, what? Because you're supposed to trust the science and we believe in science and all those things, right? It's actually not a science. It's not. And there are several cues that make us aware of this. One of them is, have you ever heard of like the healing arts? Have you ever heard of like, sometimes buildings? I can remember there was a building when I was a kid that had like dentist in it, had doctor in it, and it was called the Medical Arts Building. Because medicine is not a science. Science is science. And medicine is the art of the application of science, some science, but it isn't as cut and dry as like medicine equals science. And I think that's where we've gotten off the track. It occurred to me this weekend when I was having a couple conversations with different people, some with some pretty serious illnesses, some with just trying to reclaim their health, and so this kind of theme kept coming up again. It's like, well, there's a frustration. There's a frustration that there is not, tell me what to do. Just tell me what pill to take. Tell me what to do next. What will fix my problem? And so we're in conflict. We're in conflict with some belief systems that are actually keeping us from healing. And the reason why they're keeping us from healing is because our belief systems are expecting the answers in the form of science. And they actually come in the form of art. And I know that that doesn't necessarily feel good, especially for people like us that are more conservative in our belief systems and stuff like that, where, we tend to be like, this airy fairy, like, don't talk to me about that. Like, just tell me what to do. Give me the goods. Give me the facts. Right. So I totally understand that doesn't sit well, because I think I've shared before on the show that I've had an incident like this where very early on in my understanding and research and investigation of what health is and how to curate health, when my son was just a small baby, and a doctor told me, we can give him antibiotics for this ear infection or this problem, or we can kind of treat it, different way, because medicine is an art. And I did not like that in the moment. And in hindsight, I can completely identify why I didn't like it, because I was in a fear state. And also, nobody explained to me how healing happens in the body. I didn't have that knowledge at that point in my life. And so I thought, forget you. Like, you're just like complicating the process, and you're making me more fearful. What do you mean medicine's an art? It's so ironic, right? Because now look at what I do. But it is an art. And you see, the cult, the medical cult, the death cult, as I lovingly call them, because everything leads back to death in that paradigm of health care, which is really disease care. They don't want it to be, they don't want it to be seen as an art, because then there's too many variables, and they can't monetize all those variables, and they can't mandate all those variables, and they can't flex their science muscle and gaslight you and tell you that you're nuts because it's about the science and the science is facts. It's just not so. Listen, we don't even fully understand the miracle of the human biology. Do you think that we have all our bases covered in our science model? I don't think so. And you know how I know? Because for the most part, you guys, our results in health, especially in America, they kind of suck. And they suck because we're not looking at health through the right lens. We're clinging to science. Just give me the pills. Just give me the answer. Come on, it's science, right? We got this figured out. It's 2025. It's not more technology that we need. It is actually a return to tapping into our innate signaling in our body, understanding that symptoms are signals, and seeking to interpret those signals. I'll tell you more about what I mean on this. I'm actually very excited about this topic. I love sharing this. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia, and I'm so glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
If you're tired of confusion, if you're tired of living in fear, and you're tired of fake health advice, quite honestly, this message is for you. Naturally Inspired Radio has helped thousands of people connect to real solutions for health now. Ooh, that kind of gave me chills. I've been doing this now for 6 years, and through our daily radio show, it started with a podcast, health events, my text line. We're building a thriving community. So here's a quick story for you. Sarah from Loveland wrote in to me to tell me, after years of struggling with fatigue and digestive issues, I found you through Naturally Inspired Radio. You've helped me uncover the root cause and take small, natural steps that have changed everything. I finally feel healthy again. So we are changing the face of healthcare, real healthcare, here at Naturally Inspired. And we need your support to keep this movement growing. The impact we want to make is to change the medical model. And the best way to support us is by becoming a member of Naturally Inspired Health Community. Anytime you shop at naturalinspiredstore.com, you get a lifetime membership. You get 15% off preferred health products. Flat rate or free shipping, very reasonable. You get loyalty points towards free products. You get my weekly wellness workshops. You can attend them live or you can listen to them after recorded. You get access to my private text line for coaching and support. And this is not a chatbot. It really is me. A 90-day individualized plan to help you create a naturally inspired lifestyle, because that is what health is all about. It's about lifestyle. So just make a $50 purchase to get started and stay active with only $50 purchase a month with products that you already use. Things like vitamins, minerals, supplements, skincare, cleaning supplies, all clean, all wonderful. All you have to do is go to naturalinspiredstore.com, make a purchase, and become a member today. If you have any questions about this, text me directly at 720-303-8868. I can't wait to meet you and connect with you. All right, let's get back to this very important topic. So understanding that medicine and the practice of medicine, although science is part of it, right? Because we have to have something to go off of, right? So of course, science is a part of it, but the application of the science that we know, that's an art. That's an art. And different practitioners apply science in different ways. And so we have this problem because we have a public that has been conditioned to like, just tell me what to do. Just tell me what to do, right? Just tell me what to do. They want to give their agency over to somebody else to make the decisions for them, which I understand when you're in fear that that's the tendency to want to do that. But hear me out, please. There is nobody more qualified to make decisions about your health than you. And it has to operate this way. You know, you could have some practitioner, some godlike, complex white coat telling you, you got to do this and you got to do that. And here's what you do. And if you don't do this, okay, but like, just think about that. If you're 50 years old and you know that every time you eat wheat, you feel a little sick, or maybe you start feeling a little run down and you don't feel good. You've never been diagnosed with Crohn's disease. You've never been diagnosed with a gluten allergy. You just know that every time you eat, this bread or that bread, it's like, I don't really feel very good. Does your white coat know that? Absolutely not. And he's going to gaslight you and tell you, that doesn't matter. It's just food. Take these pills. Do you understand what I'm saying? And there are so many things like that. Right? There are so many things like that we have a mental record of in our own minds because we live here. We live here in this body. And so like right now I can tell you, I'm not really liking peppers. I'm not really sure why. Do I have an allergy to peppers? No, I don't think so. But every time I eat peppers, I just feel a little off. And so I'm kind of staying away from peppers right now. Could there be something going on there? I don't know. But I'm the only one privy to that information. And that's because I'm tuned into my body. I am tuned into my body right now, all the time, always have been. And I get these little signals that go, yeah, don't do that. Or, you know what? You should start doing this. And I trust myself. Because time and time again, it works out for me. Now, previously, when I was young and a little more naive, I handed my agency over to the white coats. And I trusted them. And even when I knew, no, don't take that. That's going to be bad. Don't do that. I overrode my own intuition. And I did it anyway. And guess what? It turned out bad. And that was a pattern. And so I learned how to be the chief executive officer of this body. Because I live here. And I'm wonderful. I love information. I love research. Please tell me what you know. I have all the respect in the world for you. Tell me what you know. Thank you very much. I will take that into consideration with my decision. But I'm the CEO here. Do you see how this is so important? If we want a model for wellness, a model for medical care in the future, do you see why this is so incredibly important? Nobody wants to take the liability for your decisions. We can't. I can't take the liability for you because I don't know if you're even going to do what I say. I'm not living in there. I don't know. And neither does your white coat. They don't know either. But here's the thing. You have to start acting like you are the authority of this body. Because you are. So when you go in for service, you pay for service, you have to express your authority over your body. And if that practitioner will not accept that you are the authority over your body, you need a new one. So go find one, because there are plenty of practitioners that fully understand that you have an innate sense and you must be the CEO of your body. You must make all the critical decisions with reason, right? Give me the information. Okay, wonderful. I'll process that and I'll process this over here. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put all this stuff together and this is what resonates with me. I'm going to use maybe a little bit of allopathic medicine in this case because I feel like that's going to be the right thing to do. But I'm going to follow it up with a whole plan to change my metabolic health because I know that metabolic health is where dis-ease starts. You cannot cut out inflammation and have it just be gone. And guess what? Inflammation is the root cause of all disease, right? So we have to ask the body, what's causing this, right? What's causing the inflammation? Well, there's a lot to be said about that. I talk about it here all the time. If we do not rectify this thinking, we're going to lose our right to have access to be the CEO of our body. And then we're going to be in real trouble because you know why? Because right now, 76% of Americans are walking around chronically ill. You know why? Because they gave their agency over to a system that doesn't fully understand or even weigh the variables of optimum health. They only weigh science. Well, the science says. They're not looking at you like the individual creature that you are. So you're not going to get the same results across the board. Do you really want to roll the dice on that? Like, oh, this worked for Bob, this worked for Tim, but it didn't work for, George and Ben and all these other people. Is that like, so it's working for 20%? No such thing as one size fits all health. No such thing. So that is why it's so important that we reclaim our agency over our body, that we build confidence. How do you build confidence? Practice. What do you practice? You practice medicine like an art. And I know that's not easy. The confidence doesn't come like that because you've been stripped of your confidence. But I cannot urge you enough that we absolutely must reclaim it. I want to go quickly to a clip and then we'll unpack it after the break. Oh, we're out of time, I guess. We're out of time for the clip. So we'll come to those clips afterwards. But I guess what I'll do is I'll set up. Thank you, Jason. I'll set up the clip for after the break because this is very important. In Canada, there's a very gentle guy who I'm going to play a clip. I just thought, wow, he's just so Canadian. I loved it. But anyway, he is a representative for wellness products in Canada. And right now, you wouldn't know it because the Canadian media is not covering it at all. But your right to purchase wellness products is in jeopardy. I'm talking about minerals, vitamins, supplementation, all wellness products. The Canadian government is trying to bring those things into the pharmaceutical model. And if you've ever heard of a thing called Codex Alimentarius, it is a program that was established in 1963 by the WHO and the Food Agricultural Organization to regulate food supplementation and whatnot. I'll tell you more about it when we come back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. See you in a minute.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
He said, I was tired of quick fixes that never lasted. Tammy helped me see what my body was really asking for with her plan. I regained my energy, improved my digestion, and finally feel in control of my health again. That's what you get when you're a part of the Naturally Inspired community. Try it today. Get priority access to my text line, get VIP access to weekly wellness workshops, schedule your free health and lifestyle assessment at naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. You got questions? I don't get this. I get it because we're doing something new. We are changing the face of healthcare, right? We are building community support for prevention. We're changing it. So if you don't get it, just text me because it can help. I know I can help. 720-303-8868. Okay, let's go straight to those clips so we can get them in. So I'll just let him explain. Here it is, out of Canada. This is what's happening.
Good afternoon. My name is Sean Buckley with the Natural Health Product Protection Association. And we're here to announce that tomorrow history is being made. The citizens of Canada have banded together and created the third largest paper petition in the history of our nation. And those paper petitions are going to be delivered to MP Blaine Culkins on the Hill tomorrow at 1:30 p.m. And then we're also having another event at Bikers Church at 6:30 p.m. And I want to share with you how this came about. And we're in a very interesting country, and I think we're in the middle of a cultural shift where before we trusted our government institutions on almost everything. We've been marching across the land holding live events. We started in Victoria on October 4th for our first live event, and we've been driving across the nation since then, and now we're in Ottawa for this historic event. But as we've been driving across the land and having people share, one thing has become absolutely clear, and that is that people are no longer willing to trust government. I asked the live audiences, like even 20 years ago when you went to the supermarket, were you really concerned about our food supply? And almost everyone agrees, no, back then they weren't concerned. But our government has had control of our food supply, Health Canada, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency, for quite some time. And if we were to ask the question, and it almost has to be a rhetorical question, and that is could our food supply be more toxic without the population reacting en masse and demanding change? It's almost like we're
Very interesting. I think I can echo that message because when people reach out to me, it is a pattern. They express to me that they no longer trust their food. They no longer trust their doctor. They no longer trust going to the hospital. Like, we're in a very different time, people. You can say whatever. I mean, I don't know this man at all, but, given his demeanor and the way he speaks about natural health, I guarantee you he hasn't trusted them for a very long time. because I sure haven't trusted them for a very long time. You know, once you get burned, it's over. You know, because then you really, you are forced to go do your own investigating, and you are forced to find solutions. And let me tell you, if your kid is sick, nobody is going to stand in the way of you finding a solution. If your wife is sick, nobody's going to stand in your way. You're going to go to the ends of the earth to find those solutions. And that is what happens. Nobody wakes up in the morning and goes, I think I'm going to go against the grain today. I just want to do everything the opposite from what the established health model is. This will be great. I'll love it. Nobody does that. They get to an end with the allopathic model where it has caused more problems than it has done good. And I'm talking about chronic disease here. I'm not talking about emergency medicine. They get to an end where it's like, this isn't helping me anymore. And I'm not sure if it ever helped me. And that's the turning point. And then they connect to real solutions for health. And they understand that dis-ease comes from deficiency. And they start doing things differently. And then they start getting results. And you cannot argue with results. I want to play the second clip as he goes on to explain.
Any more toxic, it would be absolutely intolerable. For example, anyone watching this, if we tested you for glyphosate, you have glyphosate in you. So we find ourselves where we all have a toxic load. And one of the leading causes of chronic illness is toxic overload. We've been having an online health show being broadcast all day for the last 20 days, and several speakers, famous actor Nick Mancuso, for example, or Udo Erasmus, who really is the godfather of essential oils and healthy fats. So these two well-known people share their stories on how they were basically crippled and on death's door because of toxic overload. And there's other speakers on that. This is a significant issue facing all of Canadians, and it's an absolute failure. And Canadians are beginning to understand that they can't trust anymore, that they have to take personal responsibility for what's happening, which is why we're delivering on behalf of the citizens of Canada the third largest paper petition in our history. Another problem with our food supply is, as surprising as it may be to our regulatory bodies, humans need certain nutrients to be healthy. And if we don't get those nutrients, we're unhealthy. The U.S. Department of Agriculture regularly surveys the food supply for essential vitamins and minerals. And since 1900, they have been steadily decreasing. And we have long passed the point where Canadians, even eating well, trying to eat fresh foods and eat organic, we're long past the point where you can avoid chronic illness without supplementing with essential nutrients. That's what the bulk of the natural health product community is. When we talk natural health products, the lion's share are just essential nutrients that we are no longer getting in our food supply. The reason why they've become so popular, with over 70% of Canadians using them regularly, is we just
access to those nutrients away. They want to put them behind a gatekeeper once again, right? Just like a pharma model. They want to take all your wellness products and put them behind a gatekeeper so that you don't have access to the vital vitamins and minerals and nutrition that you need. They acknowledge, oh my goodness, we're in the USDA acknowledges, oh my goodness, our food isn't as nutrient rich as it used to be. Oh my goodness, this is crazy, right? And the Canadian government wants to block your access to that. They want to make it harder, if not sometimes probably impossible, for you to not pay a toll to be able to get your vitamins. Yeah, pay a toll. Pay a toll by going through a gatekeeper, right? Right now, it'll be a doctor. It'll be a white coat. But in the future, it'll be artificial intelligence, right? You're going to have to do compliance, right? Jump through this hoop. Do this, do that. Oh, you can't have this. You've had too much of it. That'll affect your carbon score. So these guys have been doing an online health show. I can't even imagine how censored that has been. Because you can't talk about this stuff. Let me tell you, health is one, if not the most censored topic. I don't know what else is. Maybe the 2020 election. I don't know. But anything besides, health is the most censored thing because this is a money-making machine. It's an operation, you guys. It's a cult. Everybody gets a little piece of the pie in the cult. The insurance companies, the doctors, the hospital systems, the pharmacy benefit managers, all the people that push the propaganda, right? Everybody's getting a little piece of the pie. But guess what? You're paying the bill. You're paying the bill and you're suffering the consequences from the broken model. 70% of Canadians take wellness products. That's very interesting. I don't know what it is in America. I bet it's higher. Here's the thing. This model will not change. The medical model will not change. Nobody's waking up tomorrow in the medical model and going, hey, we should stop doing this because we're making too much money. What is it now? It's $48,000 a year to access health insurance for a family of 4. You think they're going to give up $48,000 for the average family to be covered by health care? That is with premiums monthly, deductibles for each person. Out of pocket, you have to pay $48,000 before your insurance company covers you. You think they're going to say goodbye to that model? It ain't happening. You know what will change it is you. You will change it. I will change it. We will change the marketplace of healthcare if we stop accepting the broken model. Well, you get that wherever you go. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? I don't know. You get that wherever you go. What are you going to do? Stop it. It sounds like a bunch of abused wives. Stop it. I can't not have I can't, what am I going to do? Stop it. You're being robbed. You're being robbed. They're robbing you. And then they're selling you poison and you're taking it, believing it's going to heal you. There's a word in the Bible, right? Pharmakia. Hello, we're here. We are here. We're responsible for changing this model. If we don't change it, our children are going to be medicated zombies. Do you want that? Because I don't. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. Sorry. Got a little heated there. We'll be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm sorry I'm getting messages. It's distracting. Welcome back. You're listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. This is where we provide real solutions for health, information on real solutions for health. And I'm so glad you're joining me today. Right now, it's time for our Naturally Inspired Moment. And I want to tie today's Naturally Inspired Moment into a topic that I'm going to be talking about later on in the health segment. Today's health segment, I'm talking about muscle. And the reason why I'm talking about muscle is because I was reminded once again just how important muscle is and how not everybody understands it and how we are kind of fighting against a culture still, where muscle isn't encouraged for women. And so I'm going to talk about that today in the health topic. So you want to stay tuned into the second hour because it's going to be a good one. It's going to be a really good one and something that you probably need to hear. Even if you're a guy, you need to hear this because this will make sense about your wives, your sisters, your daughters. It's information that they all need. So you want to stay tuned for the second hour. But first, let's get to our Naturally Inspired Moment because I heard something about muscle and when I was doing some researching and studying over the weekend and just, how we still are living in kind of this aesthetic when it comes to health, that it's all about an aesthetic, the way you look, especially in women's health. And it just kind of pissed me off, to be honest. I just kind of got pissed off listening to something I was listening to on health and getting healthy and stuff. I was like, are we still here? Are we really still here? Let me tell you that what diet culture has done to women. What diet culture, and that's like through the 80s and 90s, late 70s, I believe it started. In the 80s, it was really big. I'm talking about your slim fast and your fat free and all that stuff. And, just your waistline and be tiny, right? Be small. Do you know what being small has done to women? The social pressure to be small has created a multi-generational diet culture where women become frail, weak, riddled with osteoporosis, and are plagued with dementia. Because, for goodness sakes, don't be big. Don't be big, be small. Women are small and dainty and, this is the way you need to be. You got to be small. So today's Naturally Inspired Moment is about stop shrinking yourself. Because there isn't power in being small. It's not about being small. We really have to shift the thinking on this. And myself included. I mean, it has taken me decades to love my body. A body that has showed up for me every day, even though I have put it under abuse. I have run thousands of miles in it. I have taken it everywhere, right? You can't escape it. I have at times starved it. I have at other times deprived it. I have not been grateful through this journey. It took me till my 40s to feel true gratitude for my body. Actually, in my 30s, I think it started changing when my mother died. When my mom died, I had a new lease on my body because of her watching her deteriorate through her illness. But this idea that you should Pilates your way out to health. I'll come back to that. I'm not anti-Pilates. You should yoga your way, because you don't want to get bulky. You don't want to get big. the idea that you're going to turn into like a muscle woman just from lifting weights is hilarious. Do you know how much time people have to put into like becoming a big muscle lady? and I would add assistance in chemicals as well to become a huge muscle lady. Like, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. And you need muscle. So stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop shrinking. Stop apologizing for, not being small. In a world where everyone's shouting to be heard, it's tempting to think volume equals power. But true influence doesn't come from noise. It comes from presence. Being bold doesn't mean being brash. The strongest people walk with quiet confidence, and the classiest ones never need to announce it. I'm talking about being bold because I think being bold as a woman can come with being a loudmouth. And I think maybe that's why so many women want to be seen as small. I want to be small. Women are supposed to be dainty. They're supposed to be quiet. They're supposed to be, and I get it. But that's not true strength. And it's not equating to a healthy life. By depriving yourself, you are losing muscle, which you need to be healthy. And it's leading to illnesses like dementia. So there's no power in trying to be small. And I think why we want to be small is because we're afraid of being seen as loudmouths. And those barky women that are like, I know it all. I'm a boss babe, tough chick. You know what I mean? Because that's not attractive. I mean, we're seeing a lot of that right now in the social media platforms with the EBT stuff, right? It's like, you're not going to take my, and you just think, oh, I don't want to be like that. I don't want to be a loud, barky woman. That's fake strength, people. That is fake strength. That is not feminine strength. Feminine strength is an art. You can be bold and still carry class. So here are 5 strategies to be bold in a classy way. Know your values. Boldness with class starts from the inside. When you know who you are and what you stand for, you don't need to over-explain or prove yourself. Speak from your values, not your ego, and people will feel your steadiness. Never deviate from your values and your belief system. 2, choose grace over reaction. So classy boldness shows up when you could clap back, insult, right? You see it all the time. Insulting, you're not going to, tell me what to do, blah, blah. Like, you know what? Sometimes silence is queen. Sometimes silence is queen. When emotions rise, breathe. It's not that you're not going to have the response physically when you get riled up or when someone, challenges you. Take the space. Respond thoughtfully, not with impulse. Power isn't in the volume of your words. It's in the restraint behind them. Number 3, speak with intention. Every word you say carries energy. And people can use words to uplift and educate and inspire. It's not about dominating. So before you speak, ask, does this add value to this conversation? That's where boldness turns into wisdom. I ask myself that all the time. When I'm bringing you these stories, I don't want to repeat what other people are already saying. I want to bring you something fresh that you can contemplate so that you can bring your own ideas to the forefront. There's a lot of repetition out there. If I can't add something new to the conversation, if I can't move you in a way that pushes you towards a positive outcome and your own contemplation, then I'm not saying it. Very important. Let your actions reflect your confidence. Nothing speaks louder than composure. Keep your standards high, your tone calm, and your results visible. Boldness doesn't chase attention. It commands respect through consistency and elegance. And ladies, that is what you don't quite understand. You have all the power. You just don't tap into it. Protect your dignity and your energy. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. That's such a good point, right? I mean, there are people like social media especially, right? Trust me, I'm not attending very many arguments these days. I get comments. It's like, I value your opinion. Good for you. I'm not attending. I decline your request. You have no idea who you're arguing with. It's probably a bot. I mean, and that's what I tell myself most of the time. It's like somebody says something mean, they just like, you know what? It's probably a bot. Am I gonna argue with a bot? Heck no. Get out of here. Walk away when things sink beneath your values. Protect your peace. Protect your posture and protect your presence. That's real strength wrapped in grace. Don't waver on your beliefs. You don't have to give up your beliefs and your value system to somebody because they're challenging you. And you don't even need to rebuttal them. You can just say, good for you. Let me know how that works out for you. It's not my job to convince you. I think a lot of us learned through COVID that it's kind of a losing game. You can't convince people who they're not in a place to even understand. They're not in a place to understand. Why would you waste your energy trying to convince them? Don't chase. Do not chase. Boldness gets attention, but class will earn you respect. You don't have to shout to make waves. You don't got to be a mouthpiece, mouthy. Yuck. Nobody wants to listen to that. Insulting. It's not getting you the results. So you don't have to break down the door as a woman. And you don't have to apologize for taking up space, but you don't have to break down the door. There's a much better way. When you move with elegance and conviction, the world notices. So the biggest takeaway here is knowing your values, knowing your belief system, and executing it. Model the behavior that you want to see. We're going to talk more about this issue with muscle and taking up space in our health topic today. You're listening to Naturally Inspired, and we'll be right back.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868. naturallyinspiredradio.com.
Welcome to Naturally Inspired Radio, where we expose what's broken in the healthcare system, connect you to real health solutions, and inspire you to take back control of your life. We want to help you feel empowered, informed, and free to live naturally without fear, confusion, or dependency. Download our latest book on real solutions for health at naturallyinspiredradio.com. Naturally Inspired Radio is a nationally syndicated show broadcast on over 100 radio stations, online platforms, video channels, and podcast feeds. Follow us on your favorite platform today, hit that like button, leave a comment, and engage in our special live stream chats, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com to learn more, register for our weekly giveaway, and explore past episodes. You can also connect directly with Tammy, follow her on all major social media platforms, and discover more about our featured guests and trusted radio partners. Are you looking for better health? Work with Tammy today and take the first step toward a healthier, more empowered lifestyle. Schedule your complimentary 30-minute lifestyle assessment to explore personalized guidance on nutrition, movement, toxin-free living, and natural beauty without pharma. Get started now and discover Tammy's preferred health products at naturallyinspiredstore.com or text Tammy directly 720-303-8868. Love the show and want to support the movement? Head over to naturallyinspiredradio.com and click on the support tab. There you'll find all the ways you can get involved. Join our Naturally Inspired community, become a preferred customer, attend one of our amazing live events, get your backstage pass for exclusive access, and connect to all things naturally inspired. Thank you for tuning in today. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
The information and other content provided on this radio show or in any linked materials is provided for informational purposes only, not intended and should not be construed as medical advice. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment.
Welcome back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We're going into the second hour already. I can't believe how fast my time with you goes. We've been talking about medicine in the first hour, talked about medicine, not necessarily being, all about science. It's not a science. The practice of medicine isn't about science. The practice of medicine is an art. And we have to reshape our culture to understand medicine for what it truly is. We got to bring our confidence back in our own ability to manage our health. There's so much that goes into it, but ultimately this population is going to shape the marketplace for health, and that is what it is. It is a marketplace. It is monetized. It is a big, big business. And if we are permitted to continue on in a free marketplace, we will be the ones that shape it, because we will stop buying in to disease care and start buying in to real solutions for health. So Brian from Oklahoma shared this. I want to share it with you. He said, I struggled with cravings and afternoon crashes for years. Tammy taught me how to stabilize my blood sugar naturally, and it changed everything. I've lost 20 pounds. I have steady energy throughout the day, and my sleep has never been better. Let me tell you, people are struggling with sleep and have been for some of them decades. There's a reason for that. If you want to find out why, become part of our community. You can get a 90-day plan with me. You get access to my text line. You get VIP access to our weekly wellness workshops. You can schedule a free health and lifestyle assessment with me. Just go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. You can also text me if you think, I don't know, what is all this about? What is this different? Yeah, I get it. It is different. We do things differently here. We are pioneering the change, and we are the face, the new face. We are the new face of health, naturally inspired. Text me, 720-303-8868. 720-303-8868. Okay, I want to move into some news stories that you need to hear about. Do you remember this guy? Of course you do. Of course you do. Here's your, should we give him a drum roll? Here's your CNN health TV doctor, Sanjay Gupta. Take a listen.
I think the one area, if I had to pick one thing for me specifically, where I think we started to dig in, but could have dug in more, was really understanding the value of natural immunity. Mm-hmm. I think you and I both, when we go to medical school, we know that once you get sick, you are going to be immune for a while. Different for different viruses, but that does provide really robust immunity. Mm-hmm. It's activating your antibodies, activating your T cells. All these things get activated with an illness. No question that it'd be better to avoid that illness in the first place. It goes without saying. But I think at the point where it was clear that so many people had been infected, and we saw these waves in South Africa, for example, and you knew, wow, that burned through the entire population, it seemed like almost, because it all of a sudden came way down. It's like, oh, that's the natural immunity, because they hadn't been vaccinated yet. Mm-hmm. Then pop up again with the new variant. That should have been a signal that, hey, we need to be well aware that natural immunity is strong. It works, and I think some of the Israeli data. So I asked about that a few times in terms of how that would change recommendations based on vaccines and other things. Never really got a clear answer on that. Mm-hmm. And I think the message seemed to be just get vaccinated, which was obviously a problem because not everyone was getting vaccinated. People were losing their jobs, all this sort of stuff. So I think the natural immunity part of it still to this day is a bit of a question mark as to why that wasn't acknowledged more.
I laugh. So Sanjay Gupta is an employee of the corporate gangsters. Yeah. I mean, he's got fancy hair and a nice tan and all that. That's great. Wonderful. But so a few things here. Okay. He says here, it goes without saying. So first of all, okay. So I love language, right? So let me just pinpoint some things here. So what he's doing here when he says, once we go to, you and me, we go to medical school. Once you and me, we go to medical school, right? Then we learn that it goes without saying we have to avoid illness, he says. Okay. So what he's doing there is he's saying, I'm smarter than you. You're dumb. Put all your trust in me. Because we go to medical school. Let me tell you a little something about medical school. That's basically an indoctrination camp at this point, okay? So maybe at one point it might have been useful and helpful, but at this point it is another arm of the pharmaceutical model. It is another arm of the broken medical model, okay? They learn what they're supposed to learn in order to function in the system. And I don't even think he does that actually at this point. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he does have a practice. I shouldn't say. I don't know if he has a practice or not. But, he's a TV doctor. So, he is he's an actor, essentially. He was an actor during COVID. That is for dang sure. Because he's walking back what he knew. Do you remember there was no such thing as natural immunity? Do you remember that? Natural immunity disappeared, as did the flu. It all disappeared because we had marching orders. They had marching orders in that medical paradigm. And the marching orders were the solution to this bioweapon is vaccination. And we don't discuss anything else but vaccination because we have to get everybody in this, because we are changing the way we do vaccines. They're actually not vaccines, they're gene therapy, but we're going to do this. But like there was no, we all know there was absolutely no room. I mean, if you even suggested, I don't need the vaccine because I've had COVID. Boom, Facebook account gone. Shut up, shut up, shut up. But now, we're a little down the road, and I think there's some repercussions coming. I think there's some consequences to, what went down. Now, will those be legal, like legally pursued? Will these people go to jail? Of course not, you guys. I'm sorry to say, but they're not living in the same world that you and I are in. So, but I think there'll be some pressure and, maybe some legal extortion, you got this wrong, so you better do this. If you don't do this, then we're going to put you through the legal system, right? So these little weasels, they'll do whatever they have to do to, even if they look a little stupid. I mean, he looks a little sheepish here, but he tries to fight for himself, and he says, I asked about natural immunity a few times, but I didn't get any answers on that. Do you know how this, quote, science model works now? It has very little to do with science. It has a lot to do with the development of products for profit, right? Has a lot to do with the development of products. And there's a very deep pressure that is applied for consensus. So they don't care about science anymore. It's not about science. I mean, I've even heard some of these so-called scientists proclaim that what they care about is consensus. It's interesting because I was looking this up, this word consensus. And if you type consensus into YouTube, you know what you get? A whole pile of climate change videos. I laugh, you guys, and I've been accused of being insensitive. I'll just put that out there. I hear you in your comments. Like, I'm insensitive because I laugh at these things. But I laugh because at this point, I'm an observer. That's all we can do is observe this. And when I observe this, I have to laugh because I think, wow, this is quite a plan. This is quite a plan. And climate change is entirely about consensus, because if we let any bit of science in on the climate change thing, it's over. It's totally over. It's totally over because it's not based on science at all. Yeah. Sad, because I think it will be the mechanism, that and your health, those two things, climate change and the control of your health, fear of not getting, the white coat to tell you what to do. Those will be the two things that they use to enslave. And we're in a battle for it right now. Like right now, Mark Carney, who is entirely invested in climate change, you guys. Okay. And I'll say it again because I love saying it. I say it all the time. But climate change is actually a campaign. It's a campaign that was developed in a boardroom from a bunch of people who are invested in products to solve the problem of climate change. Okay. It's actually the revamping of energy. It all comes down to energy again. Just like, it all used to come down to oil. We got to find new ways for energy because we are marching down. We are screaming down the rails to the digital revolution. And we do not have enough power or energy to power it. So that is the huge commodity now. And people like Mark Carney have seen this trend coming from, years away. That's why he's invested in clean energy solutions, right? Any little bit of energy they can suck up, because we're going to need every wattage, every little bit to power these data centers, because everything is going to be touched with technology. Everything. And that's all going to require energy. So climate change is about energy. It's about the capture of energy. It's about the monetization of the capture of energy. It's about sucking you dry as a human. You don't deserve energy. You're just a human. We'll strip it away from them. Just don't let them drive. Don't let them eat meat. Don't let them do any of that because they're going to suck up our precious energy. And we need it because this is a digital revolution. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is Naturally Inspired Radio.
Did you know that a single collagen supplement could support your heart health, help protect against EMF exposure, and reduce inflammation all at the same time? Our preferred foundational collagen not only supports radiant skin and joint mobility, but also promotes heart health, reduces inflammation, strengthens hair and nails, provides added protection against the effects of EMF exposure, and so much more. Our favorite collagen is super absorbable and easy to take. Just 1 tablespoon in the morning and another in the evening for maximum benefits. Here's what our listeners have to say.
This collagen is so easy to take, I've noticed a huge difference in my hair and nails after just a few weeks.
Since I started using Tammy's preferred collagen, my joints feel more flexible and my skin looks smoother.
Try it today at naturalinspiredраdio.com/collagen. When you purchase from Naturally Inspired, you get access to our group health coaching call and so much more. Go to naturalinspiredradio.com/collagen.
I get so happy for you when you get results. I live for it. Samantha said, Tammy helped me understand how my digestion and my stress were connected. Within a month, my bloating was gone and my mood lifted. I feel so much lighter inside and out. Her weekly workshops keep me motivated and inspired. I'm so grateful. You can become part of the Naturally Inspired community. You can try it today. You'll get a 90-day plan working with me on my health priority text line. You get VIP access to weekly wellness workshops. You get a free health and lifestyle assessment with me. All you got to do is go to naturallyinspiredstore.com/assessment. You can book your assessment there. Or if you have questions, just text me 720-303-8868. Last week, I played you a clip from Paul Offit. Do you remember Paul Offit? He's the vaccine evangelist. I think he makes millions off of his advocacy, his expertise in passing this vaccine and that vaccine. And those aren't that's not from me. That actually comes straight from Bobby Kennedy's research, where he indicates how Paul Offit has made his money through vaccines and his promotion of them. Anyway, he looks a little worried too. I played you last week that he was like, well, maybe we oversold it because it didn't actually do what we said. Whoops, we oversold it, he said. And now this week we have Gupta saying, maybe we should have acknowledged natural immunity. Like, why are you still here? It's embarrassing, really. They're here because they're propped up by the cult. They're propped up by the media outlets, the cult, they pay for it. They own all the media. It's like, that's why they're there. They're a familiar face. They're a warm hug telling you how to curate health, right? Just take this pill, just do this and this. And it all ties back to the cult. And it's a death cult. The medical model equals death cult. Okay? So yeah, now he's telling you we probably should have acknowledged natural immunity. This other thing that he said, though, I want to make sure that I express what I think about this. He says, goes without saying we want to avoid illness. Does it? I don't think it does. actually, through my research, it's just my opinion. You don't have to agree with me. But I started to wonder a few years ago if it wasn't kind of a rite of passage, if you will, for your immune system to get some of these childhood diseases. Because there is research that says that having the measles actually gives you a higher form of protection with your immune system when it comes to cancer. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you build up your immunity. Remember when your kids first went to kindergarten? It's like, oh, I just brought everything home, right? And they were getting everything. And then it takes a little while. And then they start to beef up their immune system. And pretty soon then they start to being able to handle whatever. It makes sense to me. You know, I always go back to nature because our human biology mirrors so much of it in nature, right? And when we kind of prune back things like rose bushes, we prune them back, you know, we beat them up a little bit, they grow back better, you know. And I think there's something I think there's real value in looking to nature for human health. And this model that we live in currently, it does everything in its power to try to sever you from nature, because there are very clear cues in nature in how to curate health. Very clear. To the point where, you know, we can identify specific foods. They actually look like our body parts. And wouldn't you know it, they are beneficial to the health of those body parts. You know, it's just, there are no accidents here. We've just been taught to outsource our thinking and trust technology, like technology is the answer to everything. Progress is technology. You know what? I think progress at this point might be a little bit about remembering who we are and going back to basics of the earth and the fact that we are human beings living in an environment that we are connected to. We don't just walk along the earth like, oh, look at this great place. Like, you know, like there's no cues here on how to live life. That's what they would have you think. And, it, you know, to bring a spiritual component into it, you know, the devil doesn't create. He can only co-op, steal, and basically manipulate. So that's interesting when you think about it, when you go back to the whole, you know, pharmakeia thing. All pharmaceuticals come from, you know, they're a synthetic form of plant medicine. They're synthetic. They aren't the real thing. They're synthetic. So again, you know, pharmakeia. The darkness cannot create. They can only steal, disrupt, synthesize. It's like ridiculous, really, when you really pull back and look at the full scope of humans and life and nature. It's like all the answers are actually there. We've just gotten in the way so much. We've allowed things to get in the way because we've been tricked to not actually trust ourselves. Anyway, I'm not of the opinion that it goes without saying we should avoid all disease. I'm not of that opinion. I think that some things we are meant to fight through to build up our immunity. The next story here I want to cover before we hit the break is the transformation into artificial intelligence, you guys, is happening fast. It's happening right up underneath our noses. And when it comes to medicine, and maybe you aren't aware. So I wanted to share this little TikTok video with you today from a triage nurse who explains. Take a listen.
This is a story about how AI is taking over healthcare. So I work as a nurse and I have several jobs. One of them, I work from home, as you can tell by my appearance today. And I work as a triage nurse where people will call in and say they're having certain symptoms. And I tell them, you should go to the emergency room, you should call 911, you can take care of this at home, whatever. And we've been informed that we are now going to be prompted by an AI chat function that listens to our conversations and prompts us with what it wants us to say. And we have all been nurses for years and done this job for years. So we know what to say. But the kicker is we also need to correct the AI text. When the call's over, we look through the transcript and correct what was said because the company wants AI to learn. So we were like, well, is this just going to replace us? And the company's like, no, it's a tool. But we're like, but why do we have to teach it if it's a tool to help us? And then the next step will be you'll call and just speak directly to AI. Why get humans involved at all?
Absolutely. It took them a while to get to figure out what was going to happen. I'm thinking back to I think 4 years ago, maybe 4 years, 5 years ago now. I don't know, 4 years, probably 4 years ago when I was talking about this. I'm like, hey, you guys, all these people that were like, oh my God, I know it's bad. I know the shots are bad. I know that the remdesivir doesn't work. I know I know it's bad, but I can't leave my job. I can't leave the hospital. I'm the breadwinner in my house. I can't do it. I know it's wrong. I know people are getting hurt from it, but I just can't do it. I can't do it. So, I'm just going to keep my head down and stay there. Yeah, I said, your job is over. You're facilitating the takeover. And if you think that this megacorp is going to be there for you, basically what we were hit with COVID was like, this is changing. Everything is changing. This is the great reset, everybody. We are changing everything. And if you don't go along with us to help us change it, you're going to lose your job. Okay. But you're going to lose your job anyway. And that's what I tried to tell people. You think, oh yeah, you're a doctor. I mean, I saw videos of doctors that were, injecting people or following the protocol. And they're going, hey, you don't like what I'm doing? Contact your congressman. Where are you now, buddy? We're ticking down now. What is it? Maybe you're a year out? 6 months? You should have stood with your people. We might have had a chance, if everybody just said, whoa. Hold up here. What are you talking about? We can't just treat everybody with remdesivir and a ventilator. We need to talk about vitamin D. We should have a triage line where every doctor who is treating COVID is putting that information in, and we're helping disseminate that information so we know what's working, because we would have seen the trends. We would have seen the trends with the ivermectin. We would have seen the trends with the vitamin D. We would have seen the trends. We didn't have that. And not because we don't have the technology to facilitate that, because they didn't want that. There could not be any kind of therapeutics available to roll out an emergency use authorization gene therapy injection. Couldn't be. So you bought yourself maybe, another 4 years, I guess. But here we are. AI medicine is here. Nurses are being used to train AI, and those jobs will be gone. I don't even know what to say. I told you. I hate to be that way. Stay tuned, everybody. This is Naturally Inspired Radio. We'll be right back.
Did you know 80% of beef consumed in the U.S. comes from 4 major corporations, much of it being imported or processed with additives? Want real beef from a real farm? Pumpkin Creek Ranch does things the right way. Local, grass-fed, dry-aged beef with no additives, no shortcuts, just honest quality.
Pumpkin Creek Ranch beef is the real deal. I love knowing exactly where my meat comes from. No additives, no nonsense, just honest quality beef.
Best beef I've ever had. You can taste the difference. Rich, tender, and packed with real flavor. Plus, supporting a local ranch makes it even better.
From pasture to plate, they raise their cattle with care, so you can get rich, natural flavor that only real ranching can provide. Stock your freezer with premium beef you can trust. Visit pumpkincreekranchco.com or call 970-658-0176.
I was just doing a rudimentary search of different positions in the medical system, you know. A lot of this stuff is going away for sure, you know, lab technicians, all kinds of centralized scheduling. That'll be all artificial intelligence, patient care technician, emergency room technicians, all these technicians, you know. I think there'll be a lot more home medicine, which I think is actually not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, hospitals are known for being breeding grounds for infection, right? So I think there'll be maybe like emergency medicine type of hospital systems. But they're going to be able to downsize a lot with artificial intelligence. And so many of these jobs, like triage nursing, you didn't used to be able to call, there would be maybe, a line through your health insurance that you could call for a little bit of advice or whatever. But yeah, it's going to be downsized. It's going to be downsized like you wouldn't believe. And, I think, there's some good things that I think will happen, like home care. I think, like, who wants to die in a hospital? It's a terrible place to be. So maybe that's a good thing, that we'll be bringing some care home in terms of end of life care. So maybe be able to, stop the infection rate when it comes to some of these things. But the point being is that, the irony, right? So many people stayed in this broken model because of fear of starting something new, but there's a consequence to that. And there was people that really were brave, and their conscience just couldn't keep them in the model, and they left, and they have regrown their careers into different things. They've taken their set of nursing skills, and they are supporting health coaching. Working in prevention. Out of that came opportunity if you saw it. And if you were brave enough to stick to your beliefs and your value system and, faith. And so congratulations to those people that did that, because you're 5 years ahead. You're 5 years ahead. Naturally Inspired's 5 years ahead. And we're only going to grow. We're only going to grow because these are real solutions for health. So, it's going to be different. It's going to be different. I also wanted to talk about the new Affordable Care Act. This is something that everybody should be aware of. So we are in, I don't know how long we're in a transition phase, no doubt about it, right? You heard the Canadian guy talking about the wellness products and how most Canadians don't trust, their government to be diligent in conducting care and what's available to them. They don't want to leave that up to the government anymore. And in America, this is America. There's always mistrust of government here. was probably one of the fundamental differences I knew instantly, like being born and raised in Canada and moving to the States. There, in Canada, there was this like, the government's there to help kind of culture. Not here. It's never, since the day I moved here, it was clear. What are you guys up to? What's going on? There was a healthy, skeptical attitude, always. But I think it's new to Canadians. Not all Canadians. I don't want to paint everybody with the same brush because, certainly there's, a lot of people that have known for years over there that was going on. But I'm talking about just the general population, right? So we saw that. Like you don't trust. You can't. This is a business. It's not a coincidence that Mark Carney, who is heavily invested in climate change solutions, Bill Gates, who's heavily invested in climate change solutions, are all about climate change. And then you got Trump over here, who is heavily invested in real estate. Let me just tell you, you know how climate regulations, they're a bit of a problem for builders, right? It's like, I got to wait for approval on this. Because when you're building something, when you build something, like you're on a timeline. Time means money. And all the climate stuff and the environment stuff, that just holds up building. Like, don't get it confused. This is about money and power, okay? And there are certain teams that are promoting certain sides because for a very good reason, right? Because they're invested in it. Now, I'm not passing judgment. I'm just trying to get people to understand what this really is. Because you have people like, I'm a patriot and it's all about, Trump. And, no, Trump's bad on this side. And I'm going, just look at the facts, okay? Just look at the facts. And how does that benefit you? How does that enrich your life, your legacy, your children, right? Your children. Like, think about it. It's not an accident. So the new Affordable Care Act, right? You gotta be personally responsible here. Okay. Take a listen to this nurse.
We are now, as nurses, required to ask every single patient when they come to the hospital if you've had your flu vaccine or your pneumococcal vaccine. If you say no to either one of those, in the computer an order will generate that says we need to give you this vaccine. We don't need to speak to a doctor. It's hospital policy. It's now health department policy that we now have to give you the vaccine. Even if you came to the hospital with a stub toe, you will be offered both vaccines if you meet requirements, which just about everybody meets requirements for flu vaccine. And most people over the age of 65 will meet the pneumococcal vaccine. Even if you come to the hospital with a stub toe, you are going to be given this vaccine. You have the right to say no. If you say no, they just check it off as refused. This was never like this years ago. This is a new thing.
And tell me what we were discussing before about surgery and your admission that you hadn't had these recent vaccines. Tell me about this protocol, because I don't think that people, in fact, I know that there are many people that are not aware of this.
When you go to the hospital, if you need surgery, you need a knee replacement surgery, first they're going to ask you if you've had the vaccines. You're going to say no. Mm-hmm. Then they're going to say, well, you need to sign this consent. If you're going to have surgery, you need to sign a consent. In the consent, there's a word called biogenics. If you sign the consent saying, I consent for you to give me biogenics, that basically means that they can give you anything that they deem necessary, including vaccines. So if you say you didn't get a flu shot, it's flu season, and you sign the consent that says, I agree to biogenics, they will give you a vaccine even when you're under anesthesia because you already signed the consent.
So you might not even know you received the vaccine.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Unless you go and get your medical records, you will not know that you got a flu vaccine. They may tell you at the end, oh, by the way, you're now covered, you got the flu vaccine.
There's no informed consent. Let's just get that up front. Okay, so this is I think, and I was talking to Jason about this over the weekend. This is, I think, a component of the new medical system that we are forming, right? You and I together, by changing our actions and doing things differently. We are changing the medical paradigm. Okay, everybody's afraid of this. I have people text me all the time. I had an older gentleman that I talked to who was going in for surgery, and this was his chief concern. You shouldn't be 80 years old and, getting a knee replacement and be concerned about going in for a knee replacement because you're afraid they're going to vaccinate you when you're out. But that's my health text line all the time. This is what people are concerned about, and rightfully so. Listen, there's just no trust left, right? It's eroded. So what we need, and this is just like a component, I think, because I'm always putting the pieces together. I don't know what the new system looks like. I don't have the perfect plan yet, but I know that there's components here that need to be met. And one of those components is some sort of advocacy, right? A third party that sets out a contract for you that this is like I was saying to Jason, it's kind of like a doula, right? A doula, you pay a doula you sit down with a doula and you put together a birth plan with her, right? And she manages your birth. If you want to have a birth in a hospital, she will be responsible for managing that birth plan. And there are certain hospitals that will allow that, and there's some hospitals that absolutely hate doulas, and I would run as fast as you can from those ones. So it's the same kind of thing. We now have a need for this to make sure that our informed consent is protected and that we get informed consent. So that's with this, a lot of changes of the Affordable Care Act. This has come into place. So something called biogenics, right? Again, it's all about legal terms, right? Because if something's labeled a biogenics, it's technically not a drug. And so they don't need your consent. So there's going to be a lot of biogenics, let me tell you, because that's the catch-all that gives the immunity from liability for these megacorps. If it's a biologic, well, it's in a different category. So you don't have the same liability as you would as if it was classified as a drug. It's not held up to the same standards as a drug is. So everybody wants a biologics designation on their product because you don't have any liability or very little liability. It's a totally different category. It's what Ronald Reagan signed off on in 1986 so that pharmaceutical companies didn't have to be held liable for the damage that they were doing through the vaccine schedule. Because if they were going to be held liable for the damage they were doing, they admittedly would have to go out of business. So they got indemnity because we needed vaccines. Most people don't even know that there's a whole vaccine compensation court designated just for paying out people who have been injured by vaccines. What are you talking about? Vaccine injury is fake. That's fake. That's conspiracy theory. Do we still have those people on the planet? Are they still here? Paging people who think vaccine injury is fake. Are you still here? Oh boy. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be back with your health topic. Yeah, we're going to talk about muscle and taking up space. Be right back.
Did you know that nearly 70% of Americans struggle with their health every single day? That's why we are reaching out to health professionals and to anyone who simply has a heart for helping people. Right now, there's an opportunity to make a real difference in people's lives while building a flexible income stream for yourself. Whether you're already working in health, wellness, or just passionate about seeing people thrive, we want to connect with you and introduce you to our system. Together, we can provide real solutions that empower people to take control of their health and create lasting impact. If you've been looking for a way to combine purpose with income, this is it. Visit simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. That's simplehealthincome.com or text 720-764-7448. We look forward to working with you.
Welcome back. I want to invite you to the Naturally Inspired community. How do you get into the community, you ask? Well, all you have to do is be an active customer of our product line, and you could go to naturallyinspiredstore.com and have a look around. What some of my favorite products are, of course, the Cellular Reset, which is wonderful for inflammation, and also a collagen. Our liquid collagen is a low molecular weight. You absolutely need collagen. You need to be supplementing with collagen, and this, in my opinion, is the very best collagen I've ever used. And it's a liquid, it's a low molecular weight, so it's highly absorbable. It's not just for aesthetics, people. Collagen equals mobility. It hydrates. It keeps you loosey-goosey. It keeps you independent. If you aren't supplementing with it, you're going to see a huge improvement with it when you start. So go to naturallyinspiredstore.com, have a look, become part of our community. Tomorrow, we're having our weekly wellness workshop, Tuesday nights at 7. And tomorrow we're going to be talking about protein. I'm going to be giving you all my tricks, hacks, tips, recipes about how to get your protein in. So you do not want to miss tomorrow's weekly wellness workshop. It's going to shed new light on your lifestyle strategy. So become a customer, get plugged in, and join us tomorrow night on the weekly wellness workshop. Okay, I want to get to this very important health topic today. I'm talking about muscle, and I am targeting women today with muscle, but of course this applies to men as well. Men need muscle just as much as women. The downfall of the thinking around muscle for women has been that women shouldn't have muscle, right? I want to do Pilates. I want to do yoga because I don't want to get bulky. Right? I don't want to be big. I don't want to take up space because I'm supposed to be small. I'm supposed to be delicate. And I'm telling you, that thinking process is leading to being frail. It's leading to being prone to osteoporosis and a whole lot of other things. Let me tell you what diet culture has done to women. It's created a multiple generations of women that are obsessed with making themselves smaller. They're obsessed with making themselves smaller in an effort to achieve being small. We are afraid to take up space, afraid to be strong, afraid to be bold. Because why? Beauty is small? Beauty is quiet? Is it beauty is to be seen and not heard? It's ridiculous. It's actually leading to terrible health outcomes because true beauty is actually messy. It's so messy. It's forgiving, it's powerful sometimes, and vulnerable in other times. Beauty isn't static either. It changes. And it only gets richer as we age. There is definitely young beauty, but that also comes with being naive. Older beauty comes with wisdom and maybe not so much attention on your aesthetic, but oh, so much value in your wisdom. So if you're still fighting in the battlefield of diet culture, thinking, you don't want to be too big, I would encourage you to break out of that and claim your space. Because muscle is the key to your longevity. It is the key to your health. You absolutely need it. The impact of muscle on hormones and bones. Most people think of muscle as something for strength or appearance, but muscle is actually one of the most powerful hormone regulating organs in the body. It isn't just tissue. It's metabolic currency that communicates directly with your endocrine and skeletal systems. It's a hormone factory. I love the way that this is framed. Muscle is a hormone factory. When you move, your muscles release signaling molecules called myokines. These are tiny messengers that improve insulin sensitivity. They reduce inflammation and they support growth hormone and testosterone production. This keeps metabolism stable, helps regulate mood, and supports healthy energy cycles. You are not destined to be fat or have a pot belly because you're in perimenopause or menopause. You have been conditioned to stay small and be small and live in deprivation, and that is causing that outcome. Muscle protects bone density. Every time you contract a muscle, it places gentle stress on the bones, signaling them to grow stronger and denser. Without muscle activation, your bones will weaken. And this is why loss of muscle, sarcopenia, often leads to osteopenia and osteoporosis. So muscle maintains hormonal balance. Lean muscle mass helps regulate cortisol. Anybody got a cortisol problem? I love those TikToks. It's your cortisol. It's your cortisol. No, it's your lack of muscle. Lean muscle mass helps regulate cortisol, supports thyroid function. How many women have thyroid issues? Stay small. Be skinny. It balances estrogen, progesterone in women. It also improves testosterone efficiency in men. In short, muscle helps your hormones stay responsive instead of reactive. I have a clip I want to share with you. Listen carefully, okay?
Even have those functions, it's because we put organs in a box. So to answer your question, muscle in men and women, but women in particular for this conversation, we need as much muscle as possible to fight the insulin resistance that we get when estrogen walks out the door. We need muscle for glucose metabolism. We need muscle for the pure strength of it because we do not want to become frail and be one of the 2/3 of nursing home residents who are women because we can't do something as simple as get up out of a chair.
But I could just...
You're sacrificing your longevity. You're sacrificing your long-term health, right? For an aesthetic that you'll probably never achieve because you're using the wrong tools. You're using deprivation. You're using fat-free. You're using low-calorie. You're using hate for your body instead of love. And that entire paradigm, which is just sickening, it was invented. It was a advertising campaign again. They weaponized our egos against us. And I'm excluding myself from this. But they weaponized our egos against us to torture ourselves, to try to be something, fit into something that would actually end in bad health anyway. Do you see that? And that still goes on today. Now it's through plastic surgery on Instagram, social media. They're weaponizing our egos for an aesthetic that's fake. Doesn't exist. Protein is the raw material. Building muscle requires consistent protein intake, ideally spread throughout the day, not just after workouts. Adequate protein triggers the body's signal for repair and renewal, which benefits both muscle and bone regeneration. Strong muscle long life. Muscle mass is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. More muscle means better blood sugar control, stronger bones, a sharper brain, fewer falls. Everybody has a grandma and aunt that fell and broke her hip, right? Doesn't end well. So make muscle building a health goal, not an aesthetic one. Strength training 3 to 4 times a week. Prioritize your grams of protein, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight daily. Supplement, right? Feed your body the vitamins and minerals it is not getting from your food supply. You've got to supplement. Some of my favorites, try our multivitamin, our methylated multivitamin. I absolutely love it. Supplement with collagen. I absolutely love it. I love the Vivix for inflammation. Some people are carrying around 10 to 15 pounds of inflammation. So what you think is fat is actually inflammation because you aren't getting anywhere near the amount of protein that you need to feed your muscles now that estrogen has left the chat in many cases. Even if estrogen hasn't left the chat, you're still not getting enough protein because we've been programmed to eat like birds and to not take up space. When in reality, we should be proud of our bodies and how they perform for us. And we should be working on them, building muscle, and standing proudly in our muscular frames. It doesn't make you masculine to have muscle. It makes you healthy. It makes you healthy. It's just we've been lied to, sold a bill of goods again because of commercialization of our health. And we have to become a more informed population. The way you do that is you immerse yourself in the information, right? You become part of a community that supports you in getting that knowledge that you need to get the results that you want. I did mention Pilates, and a lot of people might get mad because I know Pilates is a thing. Yoga is a thing. These are groups, and groups can get very defensive. So I will say this. It's not that Pilates is bad. It's that it's not enough. And the research shows it's not enough. You actually need the bulk. You need the mass. You've got to lift weights. You should be changing it up. People go to yoga. You need the strength. You need the mass on your body. So switch it up, For many years, I did mostly running with very little bit of weights. If I could go back, I would definitely do it different. I wouldn't have not run because I love running. But it's really more of a therapeutic for me, not necessarily my end all and be all way to health. So it's part of my program. But lifting weights is the bulk of my program now. It is the bulk of my program. Goals change, right? It's great to look good. And here, a lot of people think that losing weight is going to be the thing that makes them achieve that body that they've always wanted. I'm here to tell you it doesn't. You need to be thinking about body composition. The only way to change body composition is through resistance training. Who cares what you weigh? How much muscle do you have? That's what's impressive. That's what looks good. And that's what's going to keep you feeling good. You've been listening to Naturally Inspired Radio. I'm Tammy Cuthbert Garcia. I'm so glad you joined me today. We'll be back tomorrow right here at 3:00.
Are you ready to stay informed and inspired 24/7? Tune in to Naturally Inspired Radio anytime, anywhere. Visit naturallyinspiredradio.com, or for the best mobile experience, download the Simple Radio app. Search for Naturally Inspired Radio. Save it to your favorites, and click on the graphic to listen instantly. Catch live broadcasts, revisit past shows, dive into long-form podcast conversations, and discover rare, censored presentations by leading health experts. Plus, Explore documentaries uncovering the hidden truths of occult and esoteric history. Stay connected, stay inspired. Naturally Inspired Radio is always at your fingertips. Tune in now. For health questions or comments, text Tammy directly at 720-303-8868.